They laughed when she asked, "Can I sing for food?" But the moment her voice echoed through the cold street, everything changed. And when Ozzy Osbourne heard her sing, the world stood still. Asterisk, asterisk, can I sing for food? They laughed at the homeless girl, until Ozzy Osbourne heard her voice. The rain had just stopped, but the cold stayed behind. It clung to the cracked pavement, to the flickering streetlights, and to the thin jacket wrapped tightly around a young girl's fragile body. She stood near the corner of a busy London street, barefoot, holding a beat-up acoustic guitar with missing strings, taped back into place. Her name was Lena. She was 17, and she was starving. Not the dramatic kind of hunger people talk about when they miss lunch. This was the deep, shaking hunger that makes your head spin and your vision blur. The kind that makes your stomach hurt so badly it feels like it's eating itself. Lena hadn't eaten properly in 2 days. Her mother was gone. Her father had vanished years earlier. The foster system had chewed her up and spit her back onto the streets. Music this battered, guitar and her voice was all she had left. She took a breath and stepped toward a group of people, laughing outside a cafe. "Excuse me," her voice trembled. "Can I sing for food?" The laughter stopped. Then it exploded louder. A man in a designer coat snorted, "Auditions are down the street, sweetheart." Another woman rolled her eyes. "This isn't Britain's Got Talent." Someone muttered, "Get a job." Lena lowered her head. Her fingers tightened around the guitar neck. She felt the familiar burn behind her eyes, but she refused to cry. Crying didn't fill stomachs. She turned away, heart pounding, humiliation cutting deeper than hunger. But then a voice came from behind her. Wait, it wasn't cruel. It wasn't mocking. It was calm, curious. Let her sing. A few people groaned. Someone sighed dramatically, but the small crowd stayed. Lena looked up. "Why, you want me to sing?" she asked quietly. The man nodded. "Yes." She swallowed hard and nodded back. No microphones, no stage, just wet pavement, streetlight glow, and a heart that had almost forgotten how to hope. She sat on the curb, adjusted the guitar, and closed her eyes. And then she sang. The voice that stopped time. The first note barely left her lips and the street changed. Her voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It was raw. Broken in the most beautiful way. A voice shaped by cold nights, unanswered prayers, and tears swallowed silently into sleeves. It trembled, cracked, and then soared like someone singing through pain. Because silence hurt more. People stopped walking. Phones lowered. Conversations died. Mid-sentence Lena sang about hunger, not just for food, but for love, for safety, for someone to see her as human. A man at the cafe felt his chest tighten. A woman blinked rapidly, fighting tears. Even the ones who laughed earlier stood frozen. And a few blocks away, stepping out of a black SUV with tinted windows, Ozzy Osbourne heard it. He stopped mid-step. "What is that?" he asked. His assistant looked confused. "Probably a street singer, sir." Ozzy tilted his head. His eyes narrowed not in suspicion, but in focus. "No," he said softly. "That's Pain." He followed the sound. The Prince of Darkness arrives. The crowd hadn't noticed him yet. They were too busy listening. Lena reached the chorus, her voice shaking but strong, and something in the air felt sacred, like the street itself was holding its breath. Ozzy stood at the edge of the crowd, who'd pulled up, glasses low on his nose. He didn't speak, he just listened. Every note hit him somewhere deep, somewhere old, somewhere buried under decades of fame, chaos, and survival. He remembered being a poor kid in Birmingham, remembered hunger, remembered being told he'd never be anything. Lena finished the song. Silence followed. Not awkward silence, reverent silence. Then a single clap. Then another. Then the street exploded with applause. Lena looked up, stunned. Tears finally broke free. She stood, shaking. Thank you." Just a voice cut through the noise. "Who taught you to sing like that?" She turned. The crowd parted. And there he was, Ozzy Osbourne. Her breath caught. Her knees nearly gave out. "Nobody," she whispered. "I just sing." Ozzy stepped closer. His voice was gentle. Double quotes. "Do you know who you are?" She shook her head. "You're a survivor," he said. "And you've got a voice the world doesn't get to ignore." The crowd gasped. Phones flew up. Lena stared at him, disbelief flooding her face. You're Ozzy Osbourne," she breathed. He smiled. "Last time I checked." From laughter to shame, the same people who laughed earlier now avoided eye contact. The man in the designer coat stared at the ground. The woman who mocked her covered her mouth, eyes wet with guilt. Ozzy turned to them. "You laughed at her," he said calmly, "but you don't laugh at pain. You listen to it." No one spoke. Ozzy reached into his pocket and handed Lena a card. "Tomorrow," he said, "you come here." She looked at an address. "A recording studio," she whispered. Ozzy nodded. "And tonight, you're not sleeping on the street." A new beginning that night. Lena slept in a warm bed for the first time in months. The next day, she recorded her first song, her real story, Unchanged. Within weeks, a video of that night went viral. Millions watched, millions cried, and millions shared. Lena didn't become famous overnight, she became heard. And Ozzy, he stood beside her at her first small concert, watching from the shadows, smiling like a proud guardian. If this story touched your heart, if you love Ozzy Osbourne, if you believe talent deserves a chance, not laughter, subscribe to Voices of Darkness, like this video, share it with your friends, help us reach 1,000 subscribers. Now, prove your love. The world is listening.